there was two twins from Waterford, they're Ryan twins who would have won it. So yeah, we're the first set since then. But I suppose getting to see her going up, it was a proud moment for everybody at the table. But I suppose when I got selected then for the two of us, like, it was great. I suppose when you're picking up your first All-Star and you're a twin, it'd kind of be hard if you were going home if one got it and the other didn't get it. So, like, my parents would always say it was great that the two of us got our first on the same night, you know, that not kind of one went home disappointed and the other one went home like elated. But I suppose, like, even if one of us did get it and the other one didn't, we would have been just as happy for the other person. But I suppose to pick up our first together, it was mighty, like, yeah. Yeah, there would be a good lot of rivalry, so there would, like, even in terms of going up through the ranks, under 14, under 16 minor, like, the managers would always have us marking each other, because obviously she plays centre back and at underage I would have played centre forward. So, like, if it was ever 6-on-6 or something, like, we'd always be, you know, knocking lumps out of each other. We'd nearly go home not talking, you know. But I suppose it's great because, you know, from a point of view where she knows everything about you, you kind of have to be a bit more creative in the way that you're playing and training, kind of to find a different way around her, I suppose. So it kind of improves you in that aspect as well, from my point of view anyway, you know. So, like, it's good. Like, we definitely, there'll always be a competitive edge there no matter what we're doing, you know, if we're playing cards at home or anything like that. But I suppose that competition is good just to bring out the best in each other as well, yeah. I think the girls even knew, like, how much we had progressed even from the year before that, and going into the league this year there was girls that were fitter, say, at that time of the year than they had been at that time the previous year. So, like, everything was probably going in the right direction until things got called off as well. Like, I suppose we had a slow start against Waterford, but we were building up and girls were actually really coming into form. So it was kind of disappointing that the league was kind of abandoned in that aspect when we were so close to a league final again as well. But look, please God, now things will be back up and running and we'll be back in action again soon. I suppose I consider myself one of the lucky ones in a way, because I suppose for a lot of the other girls, they're going from a team aspect to training on their own, whereas I had surgery in January, so I was kind of used to training on my own, kind of away from the team, like doing my own gym work. And at that time I was kind of only coming back into running, so, like, everything I was doing was different to what everybody else was doing. So I suppose for myself, I haven't had to change too many things. I suppose at home you kind of have to just change up your exercises because you obviously don't have access to the equipment that you would need from a gym and things like that. But, like, I suppose they've given us all the gear that we need, like Mike Comer and Dylan there in velocity and tunes. So at the start, before everything kind of closed down, they gave us what we needed kind of to do our own programs at home and that. So in that regard, with me, there hasn't been a massive change. But obviously, at this time of the year, you would be preparing for championship, and now you're kind of looking at preparing at a later date around September or October. So I suppose even weather conditions are going to be different at that time of the year. So it could be a very different championship from what we're used to as well. Look, it's difficult, but I suppose, like, everybody will be back and they'll be raring to go. So I suppose it's going to put that extra pressure on players to kind of give a good performance, and there'll probably be some very good games, because if you lose, you're gone. So I think even from a supporter's perspective, it's going to be very interesting as well. I think it'll be exciting too. Yeah, definitely. Like, even there, say, I've done a run for charity. So there was a run for Renan on last weekend, which was a 5k run for organ donation. So like, with that, I wouldn't have got a chance to do that before, because you'd be kind of in the peak of training, so you wouldn't have time to recover going into training the next day, or kind of went out to do a 40k cycle around home and that. So, like, they're things you don't normally get to do, you know. I suppose doing an extra bit of cooking at home with the parents as well, helping out there too. Normally they'd be cooking for us because we'd be so busy with training and everything, but we can kind of contribute a bit more now as well at home. And just little things like that. I suppose I started doing a lot of mobility as well from an injury prevention point of view, which I probably wouldn't have got the chance to do before. So little things like that, yeah. That I think everybody is probably using the time to do things that they probably didn't get a chance to do before. Like, even if it's working on different skills, you know, like there was loads of time now. So I think people probably recognise the areas that they needed to change and develop, and they've gone away and did that as well, yeah. I wouldn't say that in terms of fitness, like, I suppose speed would kind of more be my game, to be honest, and it is something that I like to work on. Like, I'd prefer to run 100 metres than to go and run a 5k. Like, even for me to run a 5k last week, I've never done anything like that, you know, and I found it tough. So it is something that you would kind of constantly work on, but I think it's probably something that I have maybe genetically just to have that speed as well. But like, there's other players there like Olivia Divley who probably has an even bigger engine than I do. But I think my game would probably be more speed than rather constant like endurance. But I'm not a massive fan of doing endurance work, but I do it because I know I have to do it to improve myself as well. But I prefer that kind of short, powerful kind of running as well would kind of be what I'd associate with my game more than anything, yeah. Yeah, it is, yeah. And like, I think for everybody, like, even if there was an underage game on now, I think everybody in the parish should flock to it to watch it. You know, like, I suppose you don't realise how much of a connection everybody in the GAA has until it's kind of taken away from you. So from that point of view, I think any sort of game, be it underage or adult levels, I think everybody would be delighted to have that back. And it's great for young people as well to get out. Like, it's okay, I suppose, for older people who can stay in contact with their friends and that kind, or maybe me going to work, I can socialise with the people that are there. But like, younger people, they've probably been away from their friends for a while now as well. So even getting back to have that connection and seeing their friends as well, it will be massive for them too, yeah. I am, yeah. I suppose, like, if for me, it's been since December since I played any football. So in terms of going through the surgery in January, and then was kind of hit with another injury along the way. I had a recurring groin injury after that while I was rehabbing the knee. So it's kind of, everything is just coming right now. So even with the things being announced yesterday, it's kind of nearly fell right into my barrow as well. So I'm kind of itching to get back now, and as soon as the games come, like, I'll be just hitting that peak as well, I think as well. So I can't wait, yeah. The sooner it happens, the better.